I literally quit. I just quit my job because I just didn't want to do it anymore. I lived off my savings for a good year, and I don't like to talk about that because it's not embarrassing, but like you're depleting your savings and you're like financially struggling a little bit, and it sucks. Hi, my name is Angela Reina. My company is Reina Smith Media. I started my company 2 years ago after working for a very large marketing firm for over 10 years. I decided to start my own firm because I felt like the small guy, the small businesses on a big firm don't get as much attention and as much quality content as the bigger ones do. So I decided I wanted to focus on small businesses and help them grow. Local small businesses, especially, help them grow on social media by using their social media platforms to gain new clients and to grow their awareness and their brand.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for taking the time. I I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I really admire what it can do for a company and the world that we live in now, that it can give anybody a platform. But I'm also not one to scroll. Like, I don't scroll on Instagram because I don't like the way I feel after. So it's like this weird,
Mm-hmm.
I've made my living for the past all close to a decade fully
Mm-hmm.
through social media, whether my time on YouTube or whether it be my time doing something like this
Right.
or the video work that I do for clients, all social media based. It's
Right.
my wife jokes that, like, she's a nurse. My wife is a nurse, and she jokes that all the nurses in her job are married to cops and firemen, and she's married to a content creator, which is just funny. But so I have a very love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
That being said, I really enjoy speaking to people that are also in the industry, because it's
Mm.
cool to kind of dissect and stuff. And as you perfect the industry, or as you perfect the craft, it reflects in the performance of the videos.
Yes, absolutely. So with social media marketing, I also kind of have a love-hate relationship, even though it's something that the way you say you're making your money off of the things that you're doing on social media, I am helping clients. I'm trying to make the analogy where you are using it as a tool for you to grow your business, where I am also using it as a tool to grow my business, but my focus is more of managing other businesses, social media, stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm not really scrolling per se. I'm only scrolling really for like
inspiration.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for inspiration, and helping my clients find something that they might like, not copy, but something that they can bring another level to in their own niche. So, for example, I have a massage therapist chiropractic client, and we've done just on-site content creation. I'm not doing anything fancy with video or like fancy cameras or anything like that. I'm going in with my iPhone, and we're doing in-app, content creation. And we did this one really silly, like maybe it was like a 7 or 8 second video. It has gone viral, like out of nowhere. It was just so silly, and it's got over like 230,000 views. And but here's the thing, it didn't just stop. We did this video back in April, and it's now almost end of June, and it's still going. Every day we're getting notification that more and more people are sharing it and commenting on it, and and it was relatable content. But my point with that is it's relatable content maybe to other massage therapists and other chiropractors, but it's not necessarily bringing them like leads right from that particular video. The other part of that is you also need to create content that is going to bring in those clients. So you have to create, each piece of content really should have a purpose. And that purpose was more to show like the fun side and like, hey, this is what we do. But when it comes to general, like content in general, it really needs to have a focus on each piece
Yeah,
in my
absolutely.
in my expertise, right?
It's a weird balance of trying to find views versus
Yes.
actual conversions.
Right. And it's such a like people get so caught up though in the vanity metrics of social media. They
Yeah.
want to get more followers. That's I want more followers. That's my goal. I want more views on my videos. I want, more comments and engagement. Okay, that all that stuff is really good and you should have that. But at the end of the day, if your main goal is to bring in new clients and your main goal is to make sales or um, you know, uh, promote your services and have more people come in that way, I think ads is one of
Mm,
the best ways to do that quickly. When it comes to your content that you're creating, for brand awareness, it's going to take a little bit longer, but the people are still are seeing it. It's planting the seeds, is like
Mm.
I like to say. So there's just so many different working parts to it. It's not just like a one size fits all either.
I really like that analogy right there because I don't know if you've seen on the podcast. I manage a small farm, and
Yes, I've seen that.
part of
I've seen
that,
that.
you just said it's like planting the seeds,
Yeah.
and the organic posts on social media are
Yes.
like starting things from seeds. You might have a lot more control over it, and you might have a little bit more varietal choice,
Right.
right? But it takes a lot longer, as opposed to going to your local nursery and buying a transplant, which is
Right.
already 4 months grown at that point. You just put it in the ground.
Exactly.
It could be the comparison of running ads versus the organic growth.
Exactly.
That's a really interesting analogy.
So I have actual personal experience with social media that something organically brought me a client, and they were actually shocked when I brought this up to them. So I had just started my company, and I was using social media to let people know that I'm in business now. This is what I'm doing, and hey, if you know anybody, if you need anything. And I was consistently posting content about my business, my services, and things that I was doing. I want to say about 3 months later of consistently posting, somebody came in my DMs and said, "Hey, my cousin owns a law firm, needs social media help. Do you think that you could, help them?" And I said, "Sure, give me their information, whatever." So I make the appointment, I go on site, I meet with them, and the guy, he was skeptical. He's like, "Does this stuff really work? Does social media really work?" I go, "Well, sir," I said, "yeah, it does." I said, because of social media, that is why I'm sitting in your office right now." And he was like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "Okay, it does work." I said, I was getting the information out there, and people saw that what I was doing, and your cousin said, "Hey, and my cousin needs help." So it doesn't have to be direct from a specific person that needs your services. It could be from someone that's going to recommend you because they saw you
Mm.
online.
Yeah.
So
It's like the propellant to word of mouth.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
So I'm curious, what are some things that you've taken, being someone that's worked in the large scale media
Mm.
industry, what are some things you've taken from the large scale media industry and brought into the smaller business world?
Yeah, so my brand, like, catchphrase is bringing big agency experience to your small business.
Hmm.
Some of the things
I like that. That's great.
yeah,
That's
so,
cool.
yeah, I did learn some really good things, but I also learned some things that really you shouldn't do. And one of the things that I did learn is, and I explained this before, was that, um when it came to small businesses that paid a little less than the larger companies in the firm, it was frowned upon if you spent a little too much time with them on their content. And that never sat right with me. I always felt like they deserved just as much attention. They're still paying money, they're still paying their hard earned money to have this service. Why shouldn't they get the attention, you know? So, I would get a little chastised sometimes. So that was one of the other things. The other thing that I learned from working at a large marketing agency was patience with clients, because they're expecting a certain amount of service, and if they're not getting that level, like, so I'm here, right? And then you got your higher ups and they're telling you, just turn it out, just turn it out. And you're getting the feedback that they're getting frustrated, like, what is this? Like, why is this not what I asked for? And, I've learned the patience of listening, right? You have to have patience in listening to your clients and what they say and what they're really asking for. And I just felt like I wasn't really able to do that there, but I can do that now.
Mm.
And I see a lot of these influencers. Maybe I'm going off tangent a little bit from your question, but I see a lot of these social media influencers, like, they're in the industry, they have a big following on, Instagram, and they give all this advice about, don't take any clients that don't pay you more than $5,000 a month. And it's like, why not? Why not take those clients? Why not take those small businesses that maybe can only afford like $1,000 or something like that? Like, give them something that's going to help them grow. You can still do it. I just disagree with all of that rhetoric that's out there on the influencers about social media. It's
Yeah,
just
you can
not.
scale something down.
Yeah, you
Like, oh, sure,
can.
you can't maybe afford my normal package, but here's something
Right.
that I can do to help you out.
Exactly. Even if it's even the consulting, like, I help with clients that might just want direction on how to run their socials, and then they can do it themselves. And sometimes, it gets frustrating for them because they don't have the time to do it, right? So like that's where I come in. But if they're just wanting a little direction, I'm happy to like create something, a little package for them where they can at least get some advice
Sure.
on how to run their social media
Yeah.
and what they should do. Little strategy,
Yeah.
and that they just have to follow it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting. So I want to talk about you a little bit more, kind of as the
Yeah.
person behind the business
Yeah.
owner, before we kind of go into just the rest of the business. What's one story you've never told anybody about your business?
Oh, the one story I've never told anyone about my business. I'm pretty transparent with a lot of um my business and how I got here. But the one thing that I don't really talk about much is the financial part of it, how difficult that can be. Um, I literally quit. I just quit my job, and because I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I lived off my savings for a good year, and I don't like to talk about that because it's not embarrassing, but like you're depleting your savings and you're like financially struggling a little bit, and it sucks. But I got through it. So if there's any piece of advice that I could give to another person that wants to start their business, is don't quit your job before, like, kind of try to do it on the side. I probably could have done this as a side hustle,
Mm,
but I think also because I'm older, and that really that shouldn't really be a factor, but I'm older. I started my business when I was 54, and I didn't want to do that because I think I'd be a little more tired running a full-time job and a side hustle at the same time. Not that I don't have a lot of energy, because I absolutely do, but for the younger folk that are wanting to be entrepreneurs and have a full-time job, stick with that. Stick it out. Rough. Take it a little bit longer than you think you can, and just plug away on the side until you make a little bit more money to sustain, because I didn't do that. But I'm good now. So
sure, that's
there's a
interesting.
happy
No.
ending to it.
Yeah, and I think that's relatable to a lot of businesses. And one of the goals that I had with this podcast is being an entrepreneur can be very lonely.
It
You just don't have necessarily the same problems or questions that other people might have. Because what, like 90% of the workforce are employees. So like the other 10%, 1 in 10 maybe, if that,
Yeah.
maybe 1 in 15 owns an actual business. So then you're like a smaller demographic, and now like, well, how do you hire somebody? How do you raise prices? To like
Mm-hmm.
ask whatever the question may be. Like,
Right.
it's harder to find people that you can talk to about that, because not a lot of people relate to that, and that's
Yeah.
kind of why I started this podcast. Is I think that I love talking to entrepreneurs about these things, 'cause I love learning. Like, oh, I've had this client for 3 years and they're great, but I need to raise their price. How do I do it, right? Talking, like, that's kind of what I want this
Yeah.
goal of this podcast to be. And I don't. Oh, so I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know where
No,
I
you're
was going
fine.
with that,
You're
but
fine.
now, but by you sharing that, that was part of what I wanted this podcast to be, is to be relatable to other people. Because
Yeah.
same here, man. I made my when I dropped out of college to do my career for full time. At that time it was music.
Mm-hmm.
I made $9,000 the whole
Yeah.
year. Now, granted, I was 19. I still
Oh
lived at
yeah.
home, but like, you know,
Yeah. It's
I
so
brought,
tough.
and like, I wasn't poor by any means. Like, I thank God, like, I still live with my
Yeah.
parents. Like, I had food on the table, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't have like fun money,
No,
because
I didn't have fun
my
money.
parents weren't supporting So if I wanted to, I have a very interesting story
I
about
want to hear it.
when I dropped out of college and I didn't make much money. I made $9,000 a whole year. I was so lonely because all the kids my age were in school,
Mm.
and all the kids, or all the people older than me, were like in their mid 20s at that point. So I was trying to make friends with them, and I became friends with them,
Mm.
and I wanted to hang out. But obviously they had a bit more established careers, and I was
Yeah.
very new to my career. So they invited me out to lunch, but I didn't have any extra money to spend. So I brought a Tupperware of
No,
leftovers
you
to the
didn't.
restaurant
You did
because I
not. Oh
wanted
my
I
God.
wanted to hang out with
I
people, but I
love
couldn't
that.
afford
I
to.
love that you did
And
that.
it's just fun. It's not something I'd probably do now,
That
but
is so fun. I love
it,
that you did
and I
that,
think I
actually.
embarrassed them because they're like, "Can I
Like, what are
buy
you
you food? Like,
doing?
please!" Like, I think they
See,
were.
in my mind, I'm like, that would make a really great piece of content somehow. Like, The
But
guy bringing his
you
Tupperware
just
to the,
you gotta do what you gotta
it
do.
is lonely. I'm home with my
Oh yeah.
in my office. I'm very lucky. I do have a partner. I hate saying my boyfriend at this age, but I do have a partner that we live together, and he's an entrepreneur. He has his own business too. I think you met him at the Plant Store thing, but when I said I wanted to quit my job, he was fully supportive
Mm.
of me doing that. But I was not expecting him to support me financially in any way, shape, or form. I literally did my part in, splitting the finances and the bills there because I had my savings. But like I said before, I wouldn't recommend
Mm.
doing that. But it was nice to have that support in what do you call, not mentally, the support, uh, partner support, whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it.
So taking that, the fact that you started with your savings, right?
Hmm.
But but without maybe any supplemental income coming in. If I gave you $10,000 back when you first started, how would
Hmm.
you have done things differently? You had $10,000 startup money with that
I would have probably,
designated to the business, not like savings, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
designated to
If
business.
if I had 10,000, if somebody invested $10,000 in my business, I probably would have gotten a part-time, like, marketing assistant, or an intern from the get-go to kind of help me launch it and like put money into, like, I guess a human resource, right, type of thing.
Why?
Um, because it was really difficult kind of doing it all alone. I mean, I got a lot, I got a pretty much a lot of clients pretty quickly, and I wasn't expecting that to happen so fast
Mm.
because people just need businesses need social media. That's, if you don't have it, it's like you have a dentist, you have a doctor, you have your nail tech, everybody needs a social media person. So, um, yeah, I wasn't expecting it to go off the ground so fast. So I was literally just like, um, trying to organize my things. Was the administrative stuff was a little difficult for
Yeah.
me to organize,
Hmm.
but I guess that's what I would invest it in.
So what is
Mhm.
your role now? Are you doing everything still by yourself? Do you have a team of people?
No, I'm not. I have a team of people now. I have a graphic designer. I have an ads team. I have an intern who's now graduated college, so she kind of helps me, do like some things here and there. My mom is my office manager.
That's great. Good for you. That's
Yeah, my
cool.
mom is my office manager. She comes in. She lives upstate, but she comes pretty much like every month or every other month, and I just save my administrative paperwork and filing and things like that for her to do. She's not making any phone calls or anything like that, but to have her with me in my office is so nice. To have my mom um, kind of be in my business, and it's bittersweet. Can I tell you why?
Please,
Um,
yeah.
so this podcast better not make me cry, but my mom grew up. She was. I'm sorry. Let me compose myself.
No, you're fine. Please, it's just the authenticity of the podcast.
My God, I said it. What is this, Oprah over here? This is making me a little bit emotional, and I'm sorry I am being emotional on the podcast. That wasn't my intention, but um, my mom was a single mom, and she struggled. She was a hairdresser by trade. She was in high school. She went to BOCES, and she did the whole program, and she did work in a salon before me and my sister were born. But when we were born, she was a stay-at-home mom, and then things didn't work out with my dad, so she was home by herself. And I'm not going to bash my dad because he's no longer here, and there's no reason to. But they were very young when they got married, and my dad might not have just been very financially supportive of my mom. So she had to figure out a way to make some extra money, even though like my dad was giving her a little something here and there. It wasn't enough. My grandparents would help my mom too, but that also really wasn't enough. We needed school clothes, we needed food, we needed, my mom had a mortgage, she had to pay the mortgage. So she opened a little salon down in our basement, and my grandfather was pretty handy. He put in the sink and everything, and I remember every day just watching her do all the ladies' hair in the neighborhood. And just but at the same time, like, seeing her just do whatever she had to do to make sure me and my sister had what we needed, um was just something so inspirational. As I got older, I understood what she was doing, right? So to have her come full circle with me and working with me in my office and supporting me and cheering me on at the same time, like telling me how proud she is of me, means so much. Like it just was like, just I don't know, watching her struggle made me say I don't want to struggle,
Mm.
you know. And I always made sure I had a job or something, like even when I had kids, but when my kids were young. But this was something bittersweet
Sure.
for me to
Yeah,
have her in
absolutely.
my office with me. Sorry, I got a little emotional
No,
there,
please.
you know. But
My job to hear the story.
yeah, so
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that.
yeah, of course,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Very interesting.
Hmm.
And it's like you said, it's cool that we can kind of look full circle on it, and that your mom can also see the testimony that you have with her.
Yes, she says she's so proud of me, and when my mother says to me, "I'm so proud of you and your sister," because my sister's successful as well, it makes my heart leap because she would say things like, "I wish I had independence like you." She goes, "I never had that. I always wanted that for you and your sister, that independence." And that stuck with me, to be independent and not rely on anyone to take care of me. And that could be, and I'm not saying a man, it could be anyone, like your parents, your husband, your partner. Really, you just never know what could happen. So I think coming from a female perspective, we've been conditioned for all our whole lives or over time, over history, that we're just stay home and take care of family, and that's innate in us, because it is innate in me. I love to be a caregiver and take care of my kids and take care of my partner, and I love taking care of my home and my husband at the time. And but the rug kind of at one point in my life got ripped out from under me, and I had to take care of myself.
Mm.
I mean, by my choice, actually. It didn't get ripped out from under me. I chose to leave the marriage, but I had to make sure that I had something to take
Hmm.
care of myself, and I'm glad that I did.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'm a little too much information, but
No, it's every
it's
part. It's
yeah. I don't mind sharing that
what
part of
makes
my
you who
life.
you are, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But one thing I think people can relate to and learn from is the fact that every business goes through phases where they think that the business might not make it. Now, you're a couple years into your business. I'd love to hear an
Yes.
experience, or many, whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
experiences of when you thought this might not make it, why, and what brought you through that.
Yeah. So when I first started out, like I said, it was gangbusters, right? People wanted my information. They signed on, and then it's just the cycle of this kind of business in social media marketing. People do fall off sometimes. And maybe their budget is no longer, they can't spend the money anymore. So marketing is usually the first thing that goes.
Sure. What's a typical retention rate?
I'm sorry.
Retention rate, like how long does a
I
client
don't know
usually
off the
stay for?
bat, like off the top of my head, but
Or
I think
turnover
it's
rate would probably be better. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I have to look it up. Google would probably be able to answer that better. But a retention rate would probably be. I mean, thank God I have right now a good amount that's been with me over 2 years. But
I mean, that's great. Yeah.
I want to say retention rate.
Like, or turnover rate, like I guess was it the same?
Uh,
Like most people, like businesses, you find that they stay long term, or do they kind of
um,
do most businesses stay for 3 months and then
Well,
go, kind
they'll
of thing?
stay. They'll stay. I mean, my experience when I worked for the large marketing firm, because I could probably tell
Okay,
more there
sure,
because
yeah.
I'm more personal with my clients, so they're staying with me a little. My retention rate is probably a little bit more than
The
the
large one.
larger one, but I did.
Interesting.
The scary part was when I was losing clients, and they would say to me, "It's not because anything that you've done. We've loved everything you've done. They're just." But and I look back at their social media, they're not doing anything. It's not like they're not didn't hire anyone else to do anything. They just didn't have the budget for it.
What would your response be to the client that says, "I can't afford marketing anymore, like, and I want to stop marketing"? Like, how
Mhm.
would you respond to
I
that?
do respond to it by saying, "Well, can I help you adjust your budget and make it affordable temporarily? Let's do this instead, and then we can, ramp it up, the next time
Yeah,
or when you start getting more business." But a lot of them just, for some reason, they just want to
sure.
just stop. And
Because
I'm
I
not
think
I'm not a salesperson,
sure.
so like I find it very, and I'm being completely transparent. I'm uncomfortable doing a sales pitch and trying to get somebody to stay, right? So when I worked at the large marketing firm, they actually had a team of people that they would send those clients to get them to stay. And sometimes they would turn them around. Most of the time, it didn't work, but
I totally relate to that. I
yeah,
have a
I'm like
harder time selling people or trying to upsell or anything, or just
same.
even though selling is to some degree a form of giving because you're giving a service, right?
Yes,
I much rather like the concept of actually giving than asking to like asking for
right.
kind of thing. Like, But the reason I ask
Yeah.
about that is because as somebody that works in the social media
Mm.
world and or my whole career has been in
Right.
social media, I would agree with you that marketing is typically the first thing to
Mm.
go in a business when things get slow. But the ironic part to that is it's actually the only
Only
thing
thing
that can
that's
actually grow your business.
yes.
And so this is weird because that's my kind of response, and like you went a little bit more literal than I expected, like with what you
Oh.
actually, which is fine, with how you actually respond, like when you try to like convert, you say, can we
Right.
work something out? I'm even just conceptually, what would you say to them? Because like in my perspective, I would, granted this is not necessarily what I would say because again, I
Right.
have a hard time sometimes with the confrontation of like
Yeah.
trying to make people stay right. But the concept is like, no, this is actually the only thing that will make your business grow.
Yes.
You want something to grow your business, you have to invest in it. Like it's the only, it's like just like going to the gym.
Exactly.
It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you money. If you're trying to lose weight, you're going to have to buy better food. You're going to have to pay
Yes.
for a gym membership. It's like
Mhm.
you can't make a change without
Yeah.
expenses.
Yeah. I mean, conceptually, I do tell them that, like, you're going to see a decrease in, your just your vanity metrics in general, but you might see a decrease if you stop running ads. You're not going to, those calls are going to stop coming in.
Mm.
So maybe we just run ads. And actually, that reminds me, I did do that for someone, actually.
Mhm.
I had a client who, um, she ended up having to get surgery done, but she didn't want to stop her business. She had an online business and she didn't want to stop that because her husband was going to be able to, like, fulfill the orders for her. But she was behind the social media. Me and her would kind of work together with her social media. And she's like, I got to go get surgery. It's a long recovery. I got to stop. And I said, okay. I said, I suggested, why don't we continue running your ads? And she's flying high with it.
Yeah,
So she's doing great. And we're running her ads and she's getting the same, like, if not more orders than she got before.
that's great.
So, and she's been with me since the beginning. I've had her for 2 years.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
what's something about your industry that most people believe? Let me rephrase that. So, what's something that most people believe about your industry that you think is completely wrong?
right now, they're all thinking that everything we do is using AI. Like, it's all AI. That's AI. This is AI. No, it's not. There are some people that are consistently only using AI, but I think that people are onto it and know what's the fake stuff and what's the real stuff. I mean, I hope. What are they calling it now? They're calling it, and I'm blanking. It's called AI slop, right? So, like, so I think that's a misconception that like we're all using AI. There's a element where we have to use a piece of it, but I'm certainly not using it in all my content for my clients. But I am using it for like helping me organize thoughts and content ideas. Even I'll be like, I have this idea. You know, give me some spin-offs of this. Like I use it very, very strategically. I'm not using it just yet for adding to my videos, and I know there are a lot of videographers and content creators that are doing that, and I like what they're doing with it, right? So they're talking on camera and then they're cutting to like them doing something outrageous because it's giving you that visual of the idea that they're presenting in their content. Am I
Mm.
making sense
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that?
sure.
I have a pool company who is one of my clients, and they wanted a professional video of their work, and they were installing lighting at the pool, but it was during the day. So you can't really see the effect of the lighting in the pool. So at the end of the video, it was just a little tweak. They made an AI portion of the pool, but illuminated it and made it look at night so that you can see the end result. And I thought that was a very subtle yet
Wow.
genius way
Yeah.
to showcase the work. Because it does look like that at night, but it was done with AI to show the prospective clients that, hey, this is what your pool at night will look like once we're done installing the lighting.
One thing that I think that people think the AI is going to do, and it might very well may do, is take people's jobs, right? But what I find so much
Mm.
of what technology does in general
Mm-hmm.
is it just makes things faster of an experience, right?
Yes.
So that what they did absolutely could have been done before, but the videographer would have had to come back and
Right. It
refilm
was
it, like and like,
right.
but that
It would
just
have
all it does is to cost people
it
time
cost, and they would have had to
and
probably
money.
charge more for that.
Sure.
So it was a very easy
And now
way
you
to.
can do it in the same exact effect, which is way faster.
And it looked. I was like, "Is this?" You went. I was like, asked him. I said, "You go back at night?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I used AI." I'm like, I go, this is
It's a very clever
genius,
way, yeah.
clever, and that is I feel in my heart that is the right way to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, I see so many videos out there, they're the talking heads where they look real, but something's a little off. There's no, like, I've done research, like, all right, who is this person? Where's their background? Where's their website? And you can't find anything about this person. And it's
Oh, well,
like,
there's totally
there's so
AI
many of
actors out there,
those,
yeah.
yeah, avatars, but they're coming,
Avatars, yeah.
but they're making it like they have a podcast and they're a person, and they're
I had
not.
this idea many years ago before AI really became a
Yeah,
thing of like this concept of like AI influencer marketing. Like you
they're
could,
doing it now, though.
yeah. Well,
Yeah. Oh, you had
this
the
was.
idea.
I'm saying like I never
Oh, you
capitalized
should
on
have.
it. It's just another. I'm full of business ideas that
Yes,
just you
right,
know.
right. But you
But
came at that
the
independently.
concept would have been, and could very well still be, because you could do something better than other
Yeah.
people, right? Is that you create these avatars and you create social media presence of them, and they get to live your best life in the
Right.
sense of like they're on the boat in Cabo, but
Uh-huh.
like they don't, but there's no expenses to it because you don't have to
Right.
actually send them to Cabo.
Right.
You don't have to actually send them to these, but then you create these people that don't necessarily exist, but they're online and they're
Mm-hmm.
living the life that you want to live, and then
Right.
you have full control over them,
Right.
right? So they can't say anything stupid. They can't go into a depression because they broke up with their boyfriend. They're in full control of
Right.
you. And
Right.
then once you've created this established person,
Mm-hmm.
you can pitch them to brands and be like, "Hey, Coke, do you want to work with this
Right.
person that has 300,000 followers in there? We can post about you being in Cabo with this and that." But none of it even really happened. It's all just
Yeah.
done it. And
Right.
most people probably hate that idea because like, "Oh, well, it's just taken away from it." I'm like, why?
I
What's the
mean,
difference? Whatever. Who
it's
cares? It's
still a
still
person
done.
behind it, though. You still have
Yeah,
to prompt the
exactly.
AI
Yeah.
to do
So
what you want it to do. But I just I have a love-hate relationship with AI. I really do. I do think people are really craving that authenticity, right? But then again, they also want that entertainment. So I think that sometimes the AI, those little elements that you can drop into your authentic content and drop in those little pieces to make it feel still authentic, I think is key, you know?
yeah,
So
I don't know. It's such an interesting world
it
with AI
really
because
is. It is.
I think people conceptually think that they don't like it, and then they benefit from the results of it, and they
Of
don't even
course.
know it's AI,
Yes.
and they love it.
Yeah.
Like as silly as like there's an AI opera, like people are on TikTok like taking their text messages and putting them into songs. That's all
Yes.
AI done,
But
and
that's funny
but they were
though.
incredible.
But they're
And I'm
so
like, I
funny. I
also
love
listen,
those. There's
yeah. But
nothing.
I'm saying like,
Yeah.
but that's AI, and people don't even realize. Oh, like I'm enjoying the fruit of AI. People
Yes.
think, oh, I don't want anything to. You're
Right.
enjoy like and like. Look, I'm a musician. I get it. People are like, oh, it's not going to affect the music industry because of this and that, and like that people want real authentic. I heard an AI version of like a country version of
Hmm.
a Blink 182
Oh,
song. I'm like,
really? That's
I
pretty
like this
good.
better than the original. Like, who cares, man? Like, what?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
know. Whatever.
It's
I don't know.
we are
It's
living in
inevitable.
an interesting world, and there are people that I've seen obviously online saying we have to stop this AI and stop this nonsense and this craziness. Like, all the commencement speeches I've been watching, they're all like, the
Oh,
kids are like, well, everybody's going crazy over it. They can't even talk
sure.
about it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
it kind of is here, and it's not really gonna.
It's a
It's not.
pendulum swing.
It's Yeah. We have to adapt just like in from the 1900s all the way to now, we've adapted with technology, and this is just another
Yeah.
technology, you know?
I also liken it to like being a musician. I think
Mm.
the AI is very similar to when Auto-Tune first came out. And
Yes.
like Auto-Tune became that very like share pop
Yes.
like we used so much of, or any, I would actually say any digitalization
Mhm.
of the music industry. We like that with that bubblegum pop, Britney Spears and in sync,
In sync, yeah.
um all that stuff like became really popular because it was new. So let's use
Mhm.
all these synthesizers, let's use all this engineering technology, and then we like went really overboard, and then
Mhm.
we realized, okay, let's just use it tastefully now. And that's kind of, I think, what's happening with AI. It's like we're just like, it's available, so we're using it like crazy, and then we'll figure out how to use it tastefully.
Yeah. I mean, it's still what it's been about. I think it started in like 2022, 2021,
I have no idea.
around then, because when I worked at the large firm, we started using it a little bit. But now it's just
Yeah.
it's everywhere. People using it, ChatGPT, to get therapy, things like
Oh yeah,
that. I
absolutely.
wouldn't recommend that, but
So now to transition kind of out of
Mhm.
AI and what
Yeah.
trending AI, what's another trend in your industry that is hurting the industry?
I feel like social media marketing is really thriving right
Mm,
now. due to AI, that there's so many of us now. There's so many marketers right now. Maybe I'm seeing it because I follow more marketers on social media and I'm in touch with more marketers. But it's talked about so much. Like so I joined a networking group.
Hmm.
Am I running on a
No,
tangent?
you're good.
So I joined a networking group, and I highly recommend that too as like another area of promoting your business. And when I joined this group, that is mostly what people want to talk about is social media marketing. How does this work? Like what can it do for me? And there's so many questions, and businesses that are obviously they have to run their business. They don't know anything about social media and how to market online, are very, very curious about how it works. So there's a lot of buzz always, constantly. I feel like constantly when I go to even if I go to like a wedding and I'm talking to like just, random guests at a wedding, they'll be like, "So what do you do?" And I tell them, it's like a long-winded conversation about it. "Oh, I have a business," and
Yeah.
it's just always a buzz about this kind of stuff. So, people I think are very curious about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I have a personal question about the
Yeah.
business and also the industry, but I think this will be beneficial for everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
What is something that a lot of customers do that bothers you?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to like put any of my
Well,
clients
you're
on
not
the.
saying them
No, I know,
specifically,
no.
but like,
They're all my clients are great. It's the typical, and everybody hears this all the time, and it's a common thing, like, make this go viral. That's it. But I think right now that's just this common knowledge that you can't make something go viral. It just doesn't happen. It depends on the audience. Like the algorithm hates me. No, the algorithm doesn't hate you. The algorithm is you're the algorithm. Like you're whatever it is that you're feeding out to the algorithm is what they're going to show, right? So basically we are the algorithm. Does that make sense?
what are you finding does well right now on social media?
What's doing well right now? I feel like the videos that the trendy videos are actually, I was so against it, but doing those little trends, excuse me, I think are doing so well right now. They
Now,
really
how
are.
does that actually convert to business, or is it just more of
No.
the vanity metrics?
It's
What's the benefit?
it's more of the vanity metrics, but as far as like doing well in that sense of views and likes and shares, the videos like that are just going crazy.
And
Like,
then how does that actually end up benefiting business, or how does that
it
work?
does, because if you're consistent with doing them, then that's the brand awareness piece. Like you're just going to keep getting more and more eyes on your page, and more people are going to know that, okay, this is, what you do. Like, so for example, for me, this is a social media marketer. If I'm constantly doing that kind of content and people are seeing it, they're going to say, okay, she knows what she's doing. But you have to make it some of it can be fun and silly and more to your industry specific, but you do have to have relatable content for who your audience is, right? So my audience is small business owners, so I try to make the content more about something that relates to a small business owner because I'm a small business owner. So yeah.
So what are things that you talk about on your page?
I'm trying to think of the last thing I did, because I do a lot of collabs actually. I've done a few collabs with some of my clients. So I like to do collabs.
What does that look like?
It looks like doing like one of those trendy videos, and I'm collabed in the video with my client.
Are you in the video?
I'm in the video. I am in the video. I don't do a lot of them, but I do some of them. And it's fun to do. And it actually builds relationships with my clients when I'm in with them and we're doing it together. But in general, I do like to,
I like that. That's a good point, actually.
yeah, it's building that relationship. Yes,
It's
for
also
sure.
breaking down a bit of the professional wall, which then,
Yeah,
builds a bit more of a long-term relationship as opposed to just transactional.
exactly. And I have so much fun with my clients when I do that stuff for them. But what I like to talk about is, the things that aren't helping you with your business. Like I do carousels of informational stuff, to kind of pique the interest of people that may not be able to hire a social media manager, but can go through my stuff and say, okay, this might help me in some way, and maybe save the post or whatever. I will be totally transparent. I am not the best at doing my own content because I'm so busy. It's like
the flight of every entrepreneur.
It's so hard to do.
It's like the guy that owns a construction company that his house is 80% done because he's
But the
doing
thing
it.
is, like, this is what I do, right? But the thing is, like, I can show examples of how good my clients are doing.
Yeah.
They're doing fantastic. My page, not so much. But with that being said, I just did a rebrand. That's going to launch actually in a few weeks. I've got a new website, a new logo, and now my page is going to be rebranded as well. I did a photo shoot a few months ago. Um, so I'm really going to focus on getting that done. But I got to get through the summer because I just signed up for, can I talk about it?
Sure, yeah.
I just got signed on with the Patchogue Chamber for a Live After Five festival, so I'm very busy with
So
that.
tell me about that. What is your role with something like
I'm
that?
social media management for them and creating their
And
content.
for people that aren't super familiar with
Oh,
that is, like, what is a
it's
Live
a
After
street
5?
festival in Patchogue, so they close.
Weekly, right? Or
It's bi-weekly. It runs 4 times this summer. And it is such a fun, it's just a street music festival, really. And there's vendors, there's food, there's just like crafts, kids stuff to
so now
do.
something like that, the actual town municipality hires your company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
So
interesting.
the Patchogue Chamber of Commerce is I think the chamber is, I'm a member of the chamber too. So they like to use chamber members.
cool.
I'm part of the marketing committee. You had one of my committee members on your podcast, Sarah Laval.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
love
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I love her. I love her.
I
Love
think
her.
I'm very
She's
friendly
on,
with
so we're
her.
on the marketing committee together, and I do kind of like we bounce things off of each other too with about the Live After Five stuff. But yeah, so my company got hired to do the social media marketing for a Live After Five, and it's doing so well. I'm so proud of it. Um, I've only started posting June 1st, and
Oh
we're
wow.
getting a lot of eyes on it. People are like, can't wait to go. So and I've never done marketing for a festival before. So this is also learning for me as well and
It's
getting
also a cool
experience.
opportunity because like
Yeah.
you could recreate this in every town on Long
I'm
Island and run
going
it.
all over I'm going to be going to the events and actually just with my iPhone, just capturing content. I should stop saying that just with my iPhone because
Well,
it's
a lot of
yeah.
clients don't even want professional cameras anymore because the iPhone stuff does way better.
Yeah, I mean this stuff
A
that you
bit,
use
well,
is
it's, I
really
guess what you
great. I
do. Thank
mean,
you, but
but I'm gonna be on the street just like filming and talking to people, getting capturing content, and there are sponsors that I have to go to, like the Langone. There's just they have a bunch of sponsors that I have to make sure that I get in front of them because they're
highlight, yeah.
yeah. So it's gonna be a very interesting thing to do, but I love being out in the crowds and
Yeah.
talking with people and just getting that kind of
That's really
content.
cool.
So I'm really super happy about. I've only been doing it, I guess, for them for 2 or 3 weeks now, and it's doing really well.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
For a
doing
fresh
great.
page, or did they have some
No, they
before?
already had the page, but we've grown followers already. We've grown buzz about it. People are like, I can't wait to be there. So this particular one, the strategy really is engagement, right? They're not doing any ads because the engagement alone is just like getting people to come and bring them into the town. So we're really happy. I'm really happy about how it's going right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what's next in the business? Where do you see yourself going?
Oh, next in the business. So I want to continue to focus on the small businesses. I'm talking 15 and under employees. Will I take a larger client? Absolutely. But I want to focus on the smaller business because I feel like that's where the sweet spot is for me because I feel like they get ignored and I don't know. I'm just I'm a community focused person and a lot of my clients are really small businesses under 15 employees, and they're happy with what I'm doing. They're getting clients, they're getting leads, so I feel like I'm an affordable social media marketer. I don't agree with. I'm not here. I'm here to make money. I'm here to make a profit, but I feel like I've been doing this for over 15 years. I can do it. You're hiring me for my brain, right? And my experience. And I can get it done probably a little bit quicker or turnaround time quicker than maybe someone that hasn't been doing it as long.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take on the smaller clients with a smaller package and still make the profit because I can turn it around faster, but with quality. I'm not just,
What
churning
was
it
your
out.
role at the big firm?
I was a social media
Oh,
management.
it's exactly
Yeah,
what you're
same
doing
what I'm
now.
doing
Yeah,
now.
very
I didn't go
interesting.
on site and film anything, or I didn't go on site and use my phone. The client would provide us the assets. But I would create content, social media posts,
Wow,
just
that's
turn,
exactly
just
what you.
most for lawyers mostly.
Oh, interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
legal marketing.
Interesting.
And I haven't gotten a lawyer. Well, I had one lawyer, but again, the marketing, they wanted to, like, stop the budget. So it was like, eh. But
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
actually, no, I'm sorry, I lied. I signed on another lawyer recently. I'm sorry. Don't.
It's a good problem to have that
I know. I'm like, oh wait, no, I just signed on another lawyer, which I'm actually going to see her next week. We're going to be doing some content for her.
shoot.
Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, in conclusion, one of the things
Yeah.
that I like to ask every guest, and we're wrapping it up, is what is something that you know now in your career that you wish you knew when you first started out?
I wish I would have been a little more responsible financially
Mm.
in starting my business. And that I would have done that instead. Yeah.
Staying at the job maybe a little. Or
Yes, I would have
part-time,
stayed at the job a little longer. I wouldn't have quit. I would have stayed and done this as a side hustle, probably.
forever, you think, or
No,
just until it was
no, until I was
sustainable?
able to had enough money to make that transition.
Sure.
But like I said before, I probably was in my brain, I'm going to be too tired to do that. That was a
Sure.
silly thing to think, but
Well, who knows? And
in
who kno-
hindsight,
you can't. Things work out for a reason. So
they do. They do. I mean, I am where I am right now, and I'm very happy with the way my business has gone and how it's grown. And I do attribute a lot of my growth to joining a networking group. I highly recommend that. That's really brought me a lot of business and a lot of trust. So
very interesting.
yeah.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure to pick your brain and hear kind of
Same,
the
Jacob.
gist of what you do, but also just the industry secrets and the tips
Yeah.
and what you found has and hasn't working. So thank you so much for taking your time. For people that are listening and want to potentially,
Sure.
sign up with your services, where can they find more
They
about your
can find me at reinasmithmedia.com. So that's REINA Smith, SMITH, media.com. And there, my phone number, everything's on the website, but I don't know my phone number offhand because it's a Google phone number.
Perfect. Look
But they can just go to my website and find everything they need to know about me, or Google me, and all my Google reviews are up there too. I'm proud of that. My Google reviews are there, and yeah.
Well, thank you so much. It was an absolute
Jacob, it was a
pleasure.
pleasure.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I cried.